Alex. I have an Instagram and YouTube Love Sugar Show, so I want to invite you to my show. And yeah, I'm really excited to get started and go through a bunch of questions about this album.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Alex is yeah, really like great experience, really excited to talk to you about it.
Well, I know this is the fourth LP from what I've read for
Yeah.
the band.
Mhm.
So, how would you describe this LP to someone who hasn't heard your music or someone who hasn't listened to the LP?
Um, let's see. A lot of the time, if I'm at work and people ask me, like what does your band sound like? I'll say something to the tune of like Pink Floyd with a bad attitude. It's it's not quite that. We're all big fans of a lot of like sort of heavier and extreme metal, a lot of doom and death and grind and black metal and that kind of stuff. But we also like a lot of stuff that is like well outside of that. All of us are big fans of like noise rock, especially from like 90s and early aughts, and the all of that kind of winds up getting smashed together into an album it feels like a good comprehensive showing of what we do and where our influences lie. Where there are moments on the record where I'm really trying to do something that sounds kind of Drive Like Jehu or Jesus Lizardy. And there will be other times where we're trying to do something that is, sounds kind of corrupted-y or something like that. It's a kind of a wide swath of influences, but I hope they come together well. And it's yeah, it's I guess like noise rock meets sludge metal. I guess that's how I'd describe it.
Okay, awesome. So, with this album, is it going to lead into like a bigger, like a fuller album, or is it going to stay an LP and just kind of be its own thing, or what's kind of like the path for that?
That's a good question. This will probably wind up being a standalone LP. There's material on this record that kind of a lot of it is totally new writing, but there are moments in different songs and one song entirely that we have kind of pulled out of the past in terms of having written songs that either never got released or never got properly released, that we've taken parts of or even the whole thing and worked it into something new. And I think um, this record for us feels very kind of a mile marker kind of album for us in a sense where I think we're working with a couple of new friends on the album. This is our first album with our current drummer John and Aaron, who plays some bass and synth stuff. And so I think ultimately, I was actually talking to Scott about this about a week ago too. I think this album for us is a lot of like kind of finding our center again and figuring out how we want to like combine everything that we all do together, and then hopefully I think going forward just continue to expand upon that. I tend to think of our general trajectory as a band as having been. Um, Start with something, focus it, then blow it up again, and then refocus it in a slightly different direction. And so I think this is given the time since our last record and with new members and everything, this is kind of making the statement that we're hopefully gonna both kind of refine and explode at the same time for the coming records.
And with this LP, what kind of atmosphere were you trying to create, or what kind of vibe would you say a listener would hear?
Uh, Also a very good question. The goal overall, I think, was to take a lot of, I mean, obviously how we're feeling about the world and the state of it as artists and as musicians and as people, and try
Mhm.
to distill something worthwhile out of what feels like a situation with a broadly negative prognosis. Where
Yeah.
it's almost trite to say that things are bad. Yeah, at this point, it's we're obviously in a very tenuous spot globally, I think, but especially in the United States. And we, being kind of politically oriented people, have a lot of thoughts and feelings about that. Uh, and we didn't want to make a record that felt like it was um, a direct address to the specifics of the time, but more something that kind of combines our personal philosophies into something that can help us interpret our circumstances and then figure out how to move forward in a way that's more positive in a sense. So a lot of the record is based on literary references, from Cormac McCarthy to Guy Debord, who wrote The Society of the Spectacle, to Thomas Pynchon and Borges, Luis Borges, and sort of painting a picture of a world with a literal infinity of possibilities for humankind and no real limitation on what we can do, but a set of circumstances that has artificially narrowed that set of possibilities for human flourishing in the pursuit of profit. And I think all of us are pretty opposed to the idea of existing in a world where our lives and our personhoods come second to making rich people richer. And so there's a lot of that on this record, but it is not going to be in the form of a uh, polemic in a sense, or at least not generally. It's more like what we wanted to do was present how we feel about that set of circumstances and what we think about um, just where we are as a species and how to make things better potentially.
Holy shit, that was really deep. I was not expecting that.
Thanks.
But I love
um,
that because, like, so many people can relate to that, especially in the world we live in right now. So I think that is like I got chills.
Awesome. Yeah, it's yeah, we all think about this stuff a lot, and it is our day to day. And one of the things that has always drawn me to art and especially to music is the the idea that, and I mean, like we have all had records or songs or musical moments or concertos or whatever in our lives that have totally just shifted the way that we think about things.
Yeah.
And not from the perspective of beating you over the head with some kind of idea, but by demonstrating some kind of emotional connection to like what our day-to-day lives are like, and a connection of feeling with the listeners so that we know that we're on this interpretive journey together.
Mhm.
And just yeah, try to like squeeze something positive out of that. The idea that playing music could help to, like, I don't mean to tell anybody what to think, but if I can help to broaden somebody's perspective on something, I am thrilled. That is ultimately what I hope to do, not through force, but through just demonstration.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
So I do want to talk about this album. It has 6 songs on it.
Mhm.
And the first song being The End of Night, it's 11 minutes long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that
That's
intentional?
sorry.
Was that intentional to make it that long? Or like how did that kind of
Yeah.
happen?
It well, so that song is kind of two songs in the sense that it contains the intro to the record, which is not part of the song, but it is something where we, as we were writing the music that became this record, we realized that that would probably wind up being the opener. uh and sort of given how the beginning of it kind of ramps up, it felt like a good way to kind of bring the listener from silence up to the sort of like walking pace of the record in a sense. So part of the reason for the length of the song is that we did add the kind of ambient intro to it. Um, but it was always a long song, and that's something that's not terribly uncommon for us as a band. We A lot of our songs wind up, or at least for a long time, they wound up kind of falling within the 7 to 8 minute mark, and then we'd have maybe one or two that were shorter and one or two that are longer here and there. This is we didn't set out to write an 11-minute song, but as we were kind of working the song out and doing what we do, which is a lot of collaborative jamming and iterating on a concept and recording that and listening back to it and saying, oh, I like this thing. Let's make that kind of a prominent feature of the song, or like, let's cut this section. I didn't like that all that much, but let's bring this around here. Um, During that process, I think we just kind of realized that it was going to be long, and it's just that's not something we're too shy about. It's definitely a little bit weird making an 11-minute song your the sort of first single, if you will, off of the first sort of premiere off of the album in an era where people turn everything off after about a minute and a half to 2 minutes. But that's I'm the youngest person in our band, and I'm 38. So it's we're all old timers anyway, and we figure like, hey, it's out there. If it catches you long enough to listen through more than 2 minutes of it, great. If it doesn't, that's okay.
And what would you say to someone to kind of, I don't know, like get them excited to listen to this song or listen to this, when it comes out?
Huh. This is the thing that I hear a lot of musicians are bad at, is like trying to sell yourself.
Yeah.
Um, uh, get someone excited to listen to it.
It's also
Um,
you're trying to be humble, like, oh, I'm the best. Like you need to listen to this.
yeah. I also just never like I like the music that we make quite a bit, and I'm proud of what we do. But like I don't consider myself a titan of the genre or anything like that. I'm I just it feels foreign for me to try and like talk myself up. But I guess if I were trying to get someone excited about it, I would say look, if you like music that tries to challenge you a little bit and take you take you on some kind of psychological journey, moving you through there are several kind of distinct movements in that song, and if you're into music that is very intentional and really takes its time but is ultimately rewarding, then I think you'd really enjoy it.
Honestly, I'm pretty basic. I just saw a maze as the cover, and I'm like, I love mazes. So do it while I'm listening to the album.
Cool. That's awesome. I'm yeah, super glad to hear that. I'm really into the design. That was Scott's idea. He had a really great idea. He came up with that design and then had the great idea to set the LP cover as being pure white with a matte finish over it, but with spot gloss that is going to be the labyrinth over top. Um, I am really excited to see how that comes out. We haven't quite gotten those in hand yet, but I think they just shipped the other day. And Yeah, the press and plate that we're working with too has always done a really good job for us. I have full faith. Yeah, and the gaps in the maze also kind of form a band logo for us that we've used for a while that we refer to as the pentagram. It's not technically one, but it's the letters in our name overlaid over themselves in kind of a almost like a sigil looking thing. Yeah, if you wind up seeing one of the album release show flyers, we sort of put that there in gold so people could see it.
Awesome. Well, sounds spooky, but that's really cool that you took like the name letters and put them over top each other.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it. it was one of those things. I think our drummer at the time, Matt, great guy. He moved out to Portland about 10 years ago. But yeah, I think he came up with that one day at work when he was just kind of sitting and messing around, and he put all the letters over each other, and we were all like, dude, that looks so cool. And we kept it.
So, out of all the tracks on here, which track would you say like represents the entire album?
Um,
No pressure.
I think if I were gonna choose one that represented the entire album, I have to cheat and probably say multiple. Um, no, I guess I would say one. Probably the Auger, the last track on the record. That is, you could kind of swap it out with The End of the Night or Garden of Forking Paths. But because I think all three of those songs kind of demonstrate both our like spacier side and our heavier side. But
Mhm.
the Augur, I think, does that in a way that is kind of unique to the other two. And it is also the history of that song is very representative to me, where um, that's a piece of music that Scott and I started working on in probably 2017 or 2018. And we wound up writing a lot of music. It was end to end, I think about a half an hour
Mhm.
with no real song breaks, and we wanted to try a completely different sort of way of writing songs where we were kind of I guess forgive the reference. I don't know if this is a local California thing, but we were kind of Winchester mystery housing a song together, where the heiress of the Winchester family fortune at a certain point, I can't remember when, had this mansion and started to go crazy and was being haunted by the ghosts of people who had been killed with Winchester rifles, and they t kept telling her to keep building on this house, and if you stop building, you'll die. So if you go into it, there are these like staircases that lead straight into the ceiling, weird rooms that are on tilts that don't make sense because of the way that everything was put together. It's a really bizarre house, and that piece of music wound up being a really bizarre piece of music. It is something that we ultimately wound up scrapping. Um, because not because the music itself didn't work, but the way that we were trying to put it all together just didn't feel very organic, and it didn't feel representative of what we do. But that section was going to be about the first 10-ish minutes of that piece of music. And we did some additional writing around it and really like sculpted it into its own song. Um, and something about that that history and that feeling of um, taking something and working it and reworking it and kind of repurposing it in a sense, I think is a pretty a pretty common statement for the record as a whole in terms of just songs that are going to represent the whole thing. It like there's a lot on this record that has been kind of worked and reworked and reworked, and there are a few songs that just sprung up like that. But really, I think the story of this record is a lot of trying things, and some things working and some things not, and just trying to refine our writing as best we could.
So, would you say like since it sounds like, you put songs where they make the most sense, would you say it's best to listen from start to finish instead of just skipping around? Is that how it was recorded?
Yeah, it so the goal, and hopefully we accomplished it, is we all being sort of old timers. um I think I can pretty safely say for everyone in the band, we kind of think of the album as a unit of music.
Mhm.
Um where like, individual songs are great. I will listen to an individual song all the time. But really, the piece that would be the same for an artist as like a finished painting for a painter is the record as a whole. And so we try to write records the with the intent of somebody listening from start to finish, and hopefully being able to pick up on little references to other things throughout the record. But at the same time, we also hope that each of these songs, or at least most of these songs, stand on their own 2 feet as well, so that if you were to listen to them out of context, they don't feel like a weird, bizarre outcropping of music that doesn't make sense.
And what is your favorite song on the album that you think everyone should at least listen to?
Oh man. Um,
No pressure, it goes on the internet forever.
that's tough. I have a real soft spot for the Judge. It's one we just made our first music video for it recently. Our buddy Kellen Smith put that together and did a really amazing job with it. It's one of our more aggressive, more kind of noise rocky songs, and it's about Judge Holden from Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. And there's something about it that just every time we play it, I really enjoy doing it.
Do you think other listeners are also going to feel that? Like, is there that emotion when you listen to it?
Yeah, I would think so. There is enough of a sort of tonal variety on the record that I think if people actually listen to it, I think different people are going to have strong opinions about what their favorite and least favorite songs or sort of moments on the record are. And that is totally fine by me. I embrace uh the idea of creating diverse music because of how it can speak to different people at different times, and like possibly bring people into a different way of listening to music than they're used to, or potentially like something heavier than they thought they would ever like. And it's something I've really appreciated when have heard other bands do it. And it's hard for me to say, I think, like when people listen to the album, that they're going to have the same feeling that I do about it. Uh, I think uh, I think that is probably going to be a strong favorite from the people who listen to our band from a noise rock perspective. There are moments on that song where I'm trying to channel like Unwound or Drive Like Jehu or Hoover, and then other moments that feel more kind of like heavier, sludgy riffs. I think we will always have a contingency of our fan base who wants us to be spacier and weirder and more ethereal and more out there. And I really want to explore that stuff too. But I think there's also going to be a place for them on this record.
Awesome. Well, I will let you let the listeners know where to get it when it comes out and all that fun stuff.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex. I have loved talking to you. I really appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, I just, yeah, excited to get this thing out.
Yeah, for anyone watching today is not release day, so you do have to wait a little bit longer. So if you want to let them know when it releases, the name of the album, and where they can grab it.
Yeah, absolutely. It releases June 12th. It is called Exegesis at the End of Time. And you will be able to listen to that on all streaming services. And you can buy the record from our either our or the Accident Prone Records Bandcamp page. There will probably be some physical copies out at a handful of record stores that are local to either us here in North Carolina, or to Gary in Portland, who is opening up his own record shop right now. Really hope I get the chance to go out there and see it. But yeah, that's not a huge amount of distribution for the physical copies, but we can always mail them out to you.
Well, awesome. And I'll leave all the links below so everyone can grab it. Makes it really easy. And I want to thank you for taking your time for doing this interview.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you again for having me, Alex. It's been a pleasure.